Today's video is all about perspective and reflection. If I were starting my product-based business today, there are definitely some things that I would have done differently. So today's video is all about the top 3 things that I would not be spending money on if I were starting my business today. And I have a feeling that I'm not the only one. So, hey y'all. So since I am in process of completely doing an overhaul on my business and just reassessing which direction I should be going, I thought it would be a great idea to do this video because it's been on my mind. I want to talk about some of these things that I did when I was starting that I wish somebody had told me. Please don't waste your money. There's no reason to go down this path because you're just too new, right? Like trying to do all of the things, trying to do everything that you see that exists in the world for your small business is just goofy, and it's going to be costly, and you will more than likely change your mind. Like you probably will not end up using the thing that you paid for. So let's jump right into my list of 3 things that I wish I did not spend money on immediately out of the gate when I first started my product-based business. Okay. So the first one being I'll start this list from top to bottom. So 3, 2, and 1 being the most important. So number 3, I would not have spent money on a logo immediately. I know it's cute. I know it's fun. I know like, oh, I have a logo. So now I'm a brand and I'm a business. No, you just kind of paid somebody to create some art or something for you. And that's great. But I think in the early stages of your business planning and development, getting your product out into the market, and then really realizing what your identity is going to be as a product, as a brand, and as a business, because they're not all the same thing. But I think once you recognize who you are and what the identity kind of holistically will be, the logo that you've selected may or may not be the logo that you grow with. When I first started, I started as a blog. I had a blog called Living Life Rated PG. And I evolved over years. I won't spend a lot of time talking about my evolution in this video, but I evolved. And so the logo that I had created, and shout out to my amazing daughter, she created the logo. However, I didn't pay for the logo, but, I did have a logo before that one that I did pay for. And I never even used it. Never even used it because the one she created, again, I just loved. And so I had that logo and I had it for a couple years. And then it really just, it didn't have anything to do with who I would become as a business owner, how my products would evolve, and really me as a brand and Hayward Love as a brand. My LLRPG logo just was not, it didn't fit. I was also emotionally attached to this logo, so it kind of made me feel bad when I had to let it go. And not that I needed her permission, but because she created it, I felt some loyalty to the logo. And so I never wanted to get rid of it because it was very indicative of who I was and what I was trying to accomplish at the time. But I feel like right out of the gate, a logo is not the thing that you really need to invest your time and energy in. I also feel like your logo will it will reveal itself as you refine and further develop and perfect your product or your business, your strategy, whatever it is. Once you've really kind of identified and perfected that and it's matured, your logo will really reveal itself. So just don't go running out spending money, and definitely don't do the like Instagram, I can create you a cartoon thing. Like, shout out to all the people who create those. They're great and they definitely have a purpose and a place, but they're not for everybody. So don't be swayed by people asking you to spend money. Can I say that? Okay. All right. So that's my first thing. Number 3 is do not spend money on your logo. All right. Number two is a website. Now I know I'm a product based business. I need I need my own marketplace to sell my stuff, right? I 5,000% agree with you. But just out of the gate, fall back on the urge to pay for a website. And there are so many different ways to be able to create your website. Um, but the money that you're going to pay for your domain name, somebody to host your domain name, your website platform, and then all of the features of the website platform. Um, it's a lot to pay for if you're new and you really don't have a lot of customers and you don't really have a lot of money to play around with. um, and if your business is not able to sustain the website, not you but your business should be able to pay that monthly or that annual fee, right? And if it can't because you're new, then there are some other alternatives that you should be considering before you spend money on a website. I am not a fan of Meta. I'm not crazy about Facebook. I do use Instagram, but I don't really like it. I feel like it's going through a major identity crisis and I just don't enjoy Instagram. But you can open a Facebook, Instagram, and now TikTok shop. You can also do Etsy. You can do a free site, right? Like it's not completely your domain, but it's like, whatever.com/, who you are. You can do those things until you build awareness. You can uh, start posting on Pinterest and run Pinterest ads. Pinterest is such a friendly, stress free, beautiful place. I definitely ascribe to Pinterest more than any other platform um, beside YouTube. But seriously, you do not need to spend the money on a website developer, uh, just all of the stuff that's attached to website hosting and all of that. It can be really expensive. And website platforms, there are, it's more than just your website, right? Like if you want to do email marketing, are you going to do it within the platform that you've already paid for? Or are you going to do your email marketing like using some other platform? And then you're paying for other services in other areas, on top of your website. And it just becomes too much. And again, if you're new and your business cannot sustain the cost, then you're already kind of in the red. So why would you even do it? Okay. Um, my number one thing that I don't even know why it's so hyped to do this when there are so many other ways to legally and successfully run your business, and that is getting an LLC. Forming a limited liability company when nobody even knows what you sell is kind of goofy, right? You don't have to do it. I will wrap this up and say, make sure you understand the requirements for the location that you are forming your business in. However, you can really be a sole proprietor without having an LLC. And if you operate your business under a alias that's separate from your name, then you can file a DBA. And DBA is a doing business as, and like that is way cheaper. And I know the argument will always be that your LLC will protect your business and or separate you and your business's assets and things like that in case like somebody sues you or whatever. Yeah. All of that is true. And make sure you do your research because I'm not an attorney or anything like that. So I'm not trying to give you the ins and outs between the differences. But I will tell you this: if nobody knows about you and nobody knows about the business that you have and nobody knows about the products that you sell, girl, ain't nobody checking for you, nobody trying to sue you either. So what are we talking about? It's just wasting money because we don't really properly do the research and we just don't understand why we should or shouldn't do things. Um, and now LLCs have even become a little more complicated in the US because of the financial crimes requirement that you need to register and all of those things. So, and I'm not saying that if you have an LLC, you shouldn't. And no, it's not due. Like you have like until January of next year, I think. But I don't know if it's necessary. No, I take that back. It's not necessary. Not every business, not every small business, not every product owner needs to operate within an LLC. You just don't, especially in the beginning. You do. Having an LLC does not make you a legitimate business. It's not going to bring you customers. It's not going to make you money. It's just a thing that you're going to be paying for. If you are a product seller in your state, you may require a sales and use tax ID. And that gives you like your benefits to be able to um, purchase items wholesale so that you're not paying tax multiple times. And then you just need to submit those. I think it's like a 50, I can't remember, but you just need to submit that information, back to your state and file your taxes like every 3 months. So there's so many different ways that are free or cost effective when you're starting out of the gate with just trying to launch your business. There's so many other things on my list, but these are really my top three things. I fell into the trap, and then years down the road, like why did I even do that? It's not really necessary. Like I said, it will not further your business, right? It does not designate you as a legitimate business. It does not make customers want to spend money with you versus not spending money with you and spending with somebody else. None of these things really matter. They're just things that you're going to end up spending money on and not even sure if those are things that you're going to kind of keep or how long you'll have them, or if your business continues on the same path, will you have to go back and change those things? I had to change my domain name because brand and business and product identity is still evolving. I would certainly suggest year 1, 2, and maybe even year 3. You're still trying to figure out who you are, right? Your business is very much in that preteen state, so it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to spend all that money up front when you're still refining products, you're still refining your messaging, you're still refining who your customers and your target demographic are. Just spending money unnecessarily on things, because trust me, you're going to spend enough money trying to get your products to the point where where they can go to market and successfully stand on their own. And by market, I mean just go out into the public and people want to buy them. You're still going to be testing with packaging and labeling and colors or whatever it is, right? You're still going to be figuring that out. So spending money on a website and on a logo and forming an LLC too soon and unnecessarily are just waste of money. So that's just my perspective. These are just the things that I have learned from my own empiricism that just, I don't know, didn't really make sense right out of the gate. Um, yeah. And then, if you buy a domain, then you're stuck with all these email addresses. And trust me, life just becomes so complicated. It just becomes so complicated. So do yourself a favor. If you are considering starting your business, living out your dreams, first things first, don't worry about paying for all of these, services and things like that you may or may not even use like in the early stages. You really want to make sure that you are clear about the identity of your brand, your business, your product, how those things are going to show up in the world, in the market, how you're going to identify and attract your customers. How are you going to talk to them? How are you going to explain to your customers, hey, I heard you had a problem, girl, I can solve it. This is what we're going to do. That's really that should be paramount in starting your business. What problem does your business solve? What way does your product make my life so much easier? How does your product help me be happier, find joy, look cuter, be smarter, be quicker, more efficient? All of those things, right? Not necessarily your website, because people will buy from you if you don't have a website. I'm just saying. I grew up in the 90s. We sold CDs out of our trunks. Not me, but people did. And I bought CDs out of the trunks. I bought DVDs at the beauty salon. So you don't need a website to be successful. But what you do need is a very clear identity and something that distinguishes your products from the rest of those that exist in the market. Because there's space for everybody, but there ain't money. There's just not money for everybody. So make sure that your business can sustain the expenses that you create for it early. And if you've already paid for these things and you realize that you really don't need them, girl, it's okay to let it go. It's okay to let it go. That's where I am right now, freeing myself from holding on to things that really don't make financial sense, or they just don't make sense, especially for me, especially for my business, and for all of the awareness that surrounds all the things that I'm trying to accomplish. So save your coins. Do not spend money on stuff that's unnecessary. If you are a small business owner and you enjoy this type of content, and if you have fallen into the trap of spending money on things when you started, drop me a note in the comments. Share with me what your experiences were or are, right? Like, or if you're new and you're like thinking about starting a new business, let me know if somebody told you that you needed to have one of these in order to get started. You don't need to do that in order to get started. But tell me if somebody told you that you did, and if you listen to them, and how's it working out for you? I don't know. If you like this video, definitely give me a thumbs up, click the like, drop me a comment, share it with somebody, and by all means, stay here and subscribe to the channel. Bye.